Thanks for joining us here at 3 Point View, where talking sports and drinking beer is what we do.
Coffee.
He's not going to be in the Hall of Fame, is he?
No.
I can tell you who is in the Hall of Fame this year. We got Randy Moss. We got Terrell Owens, Terrell Owens, Urlacher,
Ray Lewis.
Brian Dawkins. There's a couple more in there, but
There's
we're
an
just
old
talking
dude
about.
in like
Yeah.
97.
There's always an old dude.
There's always them like.
You know, there's old dudes on there because old dudes vote. What about Sammy the Knee Katowski? You know what I mean? Like, these guys, they played against 10 other white guys in a goat.
Man, they go
Like-
to hands though.
Like, you're telling me somebody like who's been snubbed the most as far as I'm saying? There's players probably on
I would
there.
say Chris Carter was.
There's
a
probably
huge
someone
one.
like, is Keyshawn Johnson in the
No, he's
Hall
not
of
in the
Fame?
Hall of
So
Fame.
Keyshawn Johnson was an amazing football player, right? On the verge, you know what I mean? I'm just throwing this out there. But
Yeah.
Sammy the Kapowski, the knee or whatever, is
Right.
in the freaking. I can't stand it. Like, come on,
Those
people.
older guys were like pioneers. They contributed in different ways.
Well, here's
If
the
you
deal.
were
If
that
you've
much,
gone-
if you
you've
were that
gone-
much of a pioneer, you'd already be in.
Yeah, if you've gone 52 years waiting,
Well, yeah.
you probably don't
They're
belong.
on the 52nd ballot.
In my opinion, those spots should be reserved for the guy who injury. Like we've talked in the past, a Bo Jackson, a Sterling Sharp,
Yes.
you know,
They
just
just
give
throw
them
'em in.
exactly,
We don't
give
even
them
worry
to
about
those
that.
guys. All right, whatever.
We don't even worry about
if
that.
you're gonna have a filler spot, make it
Who
worth your
cares?
while.
So, the fact that Terrell Owens has pretty much flip-flop back and forth with Randy Moss
Was
as
this
far
his
as
third? His
think
third try or
third
second?
try.
Yeah, this is his third
try.
he
Third.
flip-flopped with Randy Moss as far as, you know, stats. Like,
Well, if you look at their stats, they're pretty.
that's what I'm
similar.
saying. Like, one might have a little bit more receptions,
Right.
one might have a little more yards, one
Yeah.
might have more touchdowns. They're like
Right.
neck and neck in
Yeah,
everything.
they are.
And if Jerry Rice wasn't on this earth, they'd be
They'd
the
be
best
1 and 2.
receivers that ever lived in the game.
No.
But because of that, I don't get it. Why did Randy Moss, who had issues as far as, you know, he had
Off the field.
marijuana in the car, he fake mooned the crowd.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Came off and
Straight-
said he plays when he wants to.
plays when he wants to.
Yeah.
T.O. played with a broken fibula and tibula in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Like a superhero, but because people don't like his personality, because he loves me some me,
Well, T.O. is kind of like the Barry Bonds of football.
he
Because,
didn't use
you know,
steroids.
No, I know that. But
Just the
but
black eye.
media-wise,
Media.
the black eye that he gave the media, you know. That's,
Honestly,
that's
I'm going
why.
to sit here and say this right now. I'm not sure, and Randy is well deserved of being a first ballot, and I say T.O. was too. I honestly believe that if it wasn't for such the uproar
Yeah.
that everybody was giving the
Even
voters,
previous uproar.
giving the voters over T.O. not getting in, not being a first ballot, not getting in the second time, I'm not sure they would have let Randy in. I watched how many players get snubbed, and this is the first time I can recall, and it's always a snub at the wide receiver spot.
Always.
For some reason, that's where they snub it. I can't recall a time that two receivers really got in at the same time.
Yeah, I can't.
Not
I
two,
can't,
not
I can't
two,
either.
especially of this caliber. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
You think they'll save Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt to go in together?
Possibly,
that would be a good
possibly
move.
as a good storyline.
That would be a good
but,
move.
You know, Jerry Rice is the only first ballot receiver to get into the Hall of Fame besides Randy Moss.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
So
I
Randy
never
Moss
knew
and
that.
Jerry Rice are the only two first ballot receivers.
Did
to get
anybody
in.
see T.O. come off? I was watching an interview. and
Where was T.O. during all that?
This is what I'm getting ready to tell you.
Oh.
T.O. came off and was talking to a lady, and he said that he wasn't going to let voters dictate like where he stood. Like basically, he's not even sure that he wants to accept being in the Hall of Fame. If you can't put him in the first
He's
time,
really going to go that route
that's
now?
the route he went. I swear
my
to you.
God.
And I was sitting there like,
After
man.
someone
Man.
bitching, moaning, and complaining on national TV and radio for the last three
and
ballot
to be
votes.
honest, I'm gonna step up for him here. It wasn't him bitching. He shows up for interviews and everybody else is bitching, and he's like, you know what? I'm
he
agreeing
is
with
too.
you. Oh, he's not like, oh, I'll get there when I can.
He has an argument because he should already been.
He should
in.
already been.
He
in.
should already been in.
Absolutely. Well, he came off
But-
and made that comment, and I'm sitting there like, there's no way in hell that if they called you and said you're gonna be in, you're not gonna accept it.
Yeah.
Dude, they announced it, and T.O. wasn't there, and I was like, this guy's.
They
Did
didn't
you
even
see what he said
They
when he
didn't even
showed
show him on the
up?
field. They didn't show him at the
No.
knocking
Did you
on
see
the
what he
door.
said when he showed up? It was
No.
sad. We know he's gone through financial issues or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking. The reporter was talking to him about being inducted in the Hall of Fame, all this stuff. He was pitching Pizza Hut I guess that Pizza Hut has this thing about
Yeah.
pizza bucks or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
He wanted to talk more. He must have meant, that's all he said, Pizza Hut, Pizza Hut, Pizza Hut.
He probably got
You're
paid
gonna-
a little bit every time he said
Oh
pizza.
my
He had
God,
the
I was
commercial
like-
for the Super Bowl.
I was like, at the end, like usually I call Mike and Mike. At the end, they just give him like a 10-second, you know, I'm brought by chocolate milk or whatever. And then
Right.
but Pizza Hut was the freaking main topic in why you got invited in the Hall of Fame, inducted.
I think now with him getting inducted, he actually voted in and getting the notoriety and the recognition. Now he's taking a step back and like, screw y'all. I should have already been in, and now he's acting.
He's
like
always
that.
been socially awkward.
Yeah.
But I think that has made him him.
You know, he's actually doing that reality show or something like that that's going on.
Pros versus
Something like
something
that. Something
along
real
that. Yeah.
people versus
Yeah.
pros or something. And he got into that
Oh, he
argument.
got roasted by who was it that roasted him? I can't even remember the guy, but he basically came off and put him out there for being bankrupt. And,
Oh yeah, that's what I was getting
yeah.
at.
I don't remember what guy it was that roasted.
Then it like almost turned into fisticuffs.
Oh yeah, he stood up and was like getting ready to fight him. And he was
Yeah.
just mocking him.
Right.
It's kind of sad, like if you watch Terrell Owens now, like it's just like,
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, he put himself in that position by being the flamboyant, showman that he was, and unfortunately, it kind of backfired in the long run because he thought he was going to continue playing, and he wasn't. So he got that last contract in Cincinnati, and then ever since then, that was it. And he put up good numbers.
It kind of showed like he tried to be what Revis is.
Yeah.
Like he tried to like take his superior talents and get the most bang for its buck, but it backfired on him,
Right.
Because he wasn't that team player, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, as they'd want to say. Even though he put himself out there, played with the broken bones, always performed. The fact that he was always putting himself out there, but Revis played it to the bone. Like I don't care what you say, he found a way to make money.
He was struggling before he got that last contract in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And the comparison that I make T.O. to is in a different sport to basketball to Dennis Rodman. And Dennis Rodman is worth negative $1 million right now. That's his net worth.
That's crazy.
Right? So that kind of reminds me of T.O. in the position that T.O. put himself in, just like Rodman put himself in, with being out there, being extravagant, the showman, love me some me, stuff like that. But regardless, it's a celebration. I mean,
Yes.
they're in the Hall of Fame class. This is time to celebrate his stats, his accomplishments, what he's done on the field, not off the field. Same thing with Randy Moss, like he said earlier, that they are neck and neck. And if Jerry Rice was never on the planet, they'd be 1 and 2 best receivers in the world.
So who would you take at their prime, Moss or T.O.?
I'm taking Moss.
Moss was an overall better athlete, but I feel like T.O. was more of a dog. Like I feel like T.O. was just more of a grind it out and make it happen.
I wouldn't take T.O. only because of the drops.
And I would argue against T.O. drops.
That's it. That's the only
especially
difference for me.
earlier in his career.
Even later
But
in Dallas.
With Randy, I feel like he was more of an emotional head case in comparison to T.O. T.O. he wore his emotions on his sleeve, but he was like raw to where Randy was almost. He'd go back into a shell once in a while.
Yeah.
So
I guess it's kind of a toss up in that regard too.
Yeah.
Just like their stats.
I think Terrell Owens got to play with some great quarterbacks. Not great, not Hall of Fame, but Hall of Fame is Steve Young. Hall of Fame is Steve Young. Tony Romo, great not amazing, but great quarterback.
Yeah.
McNabb. I'm just saying.
a little bit of
Good
Buffalo
quarterback.
without anything there.
What I'm saying
Oh,
for the most part, Jeff Garcia during his best years. I'm just saying, I think he played with better quarterbacks. Aside from New England, we've seen what happened when Randy Moss had a great quarterback.
He did really good with Dante Culpepper though.
He made Dante Culpepper.
Oh yeah.
Well,
He
sure.
revived.
But Culpepper
was-
had the arm to
He was Calvin Johnson
So.
to Stafford when Stafford first started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just Stafford. I mean, he's developed into a better quarterback now.
Right.
But at the beginning of his career, he wouldn't have been
Just
putting
throw it up to
he
Calvin,
wouldn't have
throw
put
it
the
up to
numbers up
Randy.
if it wasn't for.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, Tom Brady's the only great quarterback he played with.
Right, and you've seen the
And
numbers.
yeah,
that
I
he
seen
put
that.
up.
It was he broke the
Just
all-time
think if he
touchdown.
played
23
10 years with Tom Brady.
He'd own every record.
And
If-
how
He
that
would be close to all Jerry Rice's records.
and how that relationship ended so quick is beyond me.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
then he went to San Fran, then he went to Minnesota, and
It's
then
like he self-sabotaged himself.
yeah.
So both of them had like a sabotage type deal going on with them. There's other guys on this list that were just the complete opposite. Brian Urlacher.
Right.
He played.
No, you know.
There's a guy
issues
on the list right now I'm going to bring up. If they had such a problem with T.O.'s background and maybe even, well, apparently you don't have too much of a problem with Randy's because he got in first time. Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He deserves to be a first ballot for what he did on the field, but to have the story that he has, you can't tell me that there wasn't a reason to kind of hold him off for a year or so.
The only reason why I think that they didn't take that into consideration is because it
cleared.
happened his rookie year.
Yeah.
You know, or his second year. It was either his rookie year or his second year. So that was so far in the back of the memory to where T.O.'s was right after he retired. And then it continued on when he didn't make it the first time. Then continued on when he didn't make it the second time.
Well, my thing is, though, wasn't he found innocent?
Yeah, he was.
So why does it always get brought up?
It gets brought up just because it was a story. It was a national headline. And there was lives lost. So that's why it gets brought up.
I just don't see when there's, like, I think you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But when you're in the spotlight like they are, you're always found guilty. Like, it's going to follow him forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, he goes to church. He does
I mean, he does all this great stuff. I mean, absolutely.
Why isn't he on, like, TV, like, I know he's on sometimes, but not like he should be.
I don't know. I think sometimes that he could be really overbearing. You know,
too much personality.
Too much. I mean, that's probably why they took him off the Monday Night Football countdown and all that. But
I thought he'd like have his own show by now.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I like watching Ray Lewis.
That
on
speech
TV.
in the Super Bowl seemed like something better than something out of a movie. If you listen to it,
it's kind of like the Tebow and then the Denzel speech and.
So what about Dawkins? Do you think Dawkins?
I love it. I love Dawkins being in there. I think that's great.
That was a good one. Honestly, I was surprised to see it for some reason. It didn't
I was
register
too.
that he was even on the ballot. And then when I seen him, I'm like, that was a good one.
He was with Philly, and then he went to Denver, and then retired. I mean, he retired early because he got injured. He would have been playing even longer.
But he was still, when he played, was a dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he always gave 110%. So, who do you think the Rams receivers are the next ones to get in? Do you think they're the ones?
I don't know what other receivers are coming up behind them at this point.
Who else? Phil Simms hasn't.
Well, Hines Ward was still on the list.
Hines Ward's still on the list.
I mean, there's a few that could possibly get in, you know, along with them, or at least one of them.
You know when this is gonna when the time comes, and it's Adrian Peterson's turn. Is the kid thing gonna help hold him back?
It almost feels like it's been pushed aside already, though.
It has somewhat been pushed aside.
But I'm saying, but he was found
recent.
guilty, correct?
Yeah. No.
So I'm saying if these guys, Ray Lewis wasn't even found guilty, but you know what I mean? And they even showed the switch and everything else, you know?
My ordeal with the Adrian Peterson thing is he was raised to whoop your kid if they act up. No. Yeah. And to be honest, chances are, if it's his kid, it's probably a big ass kid. just say it.
Well, we're not here to judge, you know, parenting.
I'm telling you right now, I got whooped when I was a kid, and you know what? I deserved it. And if my kids do something too stupid, I might just smack them in the back of the head or something. They need it.
He's definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes.
So he's definitely
nice segue, Clint.
Whatever. Beat your kids.
Thanks for tuning in to 3 Point View. We love the kids, and you can check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on AMFM 24/7. Even Roku TV. We're gonna be right back at you with some more football. See you soon.